This session is about barriers to effective listening. I'm going to discuss the introductory aspect and barriers to effective listening. A barrier to listening is anything that is physically or physiologically hindering you from recognizing, understanding, and accurately interpreting the message that you're receiving. Most of the time, we fail to understand what is being said or heard. The reason is because of different barriers which we face. Let's discuss the five different types of barriers to effective listening. They are information overload, personal concerns or issues, outside distractions, prejudice, and the rate of speech and thought. When you have a better understanding of the potential barriers to effective listening, you can pinpoint where your weaknesses are lying and work on building them to make you a better listener. Let's understand each barrier in detail. The first barrier which we face during communication and understanding. 70% of our waking time or awake time is spent in some sort of communication situation. Of that 70%, 45% of that time is spent on listening. With all we have to listen to, there are going to be times where we experience information overload. Today's generation, you have so many options of getting information, both virtually and offline mode. So, information overload is when you have so much information coming at you, it's easy to become overwhelmed. And what if a speaker condenses so much of statistical tools and information in the presentation that you cannot keep track of all the numbers? That's information overload. So today we are bombarded with too much of information. You just browse any topic on internet, you get lots of information and you get confused and we lose on to what is to be heard and understood. Next, most of us have this personal concerns issue. Sometimes, when we are observed in our own thoughts and concerns, we cannot focus on whatever being said or heard. Your role as an audience member is to listen to what the speaker is saying. If you find yourself focusing on your own upcoming speech or presentation, rather than listening to your teacher or classmates, you're allowing your personal concerns to distract you. Or perhaps you're worried about something happening at work or home. When you allow those worries to take your focus, you will often find that you become a less effective listener. Most of the time, it happens in classroom learning. You'll be worried about the mobile phone which you lost in the bus. And will you be able to concentrate what the teacher is saying? Definitely no, because you're worried about the loss. So that's how we face this barrier, personal concerns. The next barrier, outside distraction. Everything is fine, but there's a lot of noise in the hall or surrounding, or mobile phone, or distractions from your friend, classroom doors slamming, cell phones ringing, students having conversation outside or inside the hall are examples of outside distractions. It's your job to check out the speaking situations before you present. That way, you expect some of the above mentioned outside distractions. If you have a good idea of what to expect, you can adjust your volume, pace, pitch, and tone of your speech. If you are an audience member, you can move to another seat or close the door which is disturbing you or do whatever is necessary to minimize the distraction. Today, most of us are distracted because of cell phones. Yes, the next common distraction is prejudice. Sometimes you might have an hard time listening because you do not agree with the speaker. Opinions differ, beliefs differ, values differ. We as humans have a tendency to be close minded at times. If you have an emotional reaction to a speaker or you disagree with what he or she is posing as an idea on a personal level, you might allow personal prejudices to distract you. Keep an open mind while you may not agree with the speaker. His or her message may be valid. You will never know unless you hear them out. So, this is one of the most common barrier which we face, prejudice. The next, the challenge is understanding the rate of speech and thought. Most people speak at a rate of 125 words per minute. As a listener, you are able to filter only 700 words a minute. If we can process so many more words than we actually hear, there might be a mental lag which might occur in our inner thoughts. Eventually, we will stop listening, or we will find ourselves drifting in and out. It might be to your benefit to mentally summarize the speaker's ideas from time to time to keep you engaged. So, this most of the time we face when the speaker speaks at a faster rate. So, what is heard and understood, there is a lagging. So, this is another type of barrier. So, dear friends, we have discussed the types of barriers and we have also thought of how to overcome these barriers. So, let's conclude this session. So, barriers to effective listening are present in every stage of listening process, which is being mentioned by RG in 2011 in his paper. We face barriers at the listening stage. Noise can block or distort incoming stimuli or information. Noise cannot be avoided at times, it is beyond our control. When we are interpreting, that is the interpreting stage, we might have difficulty when we are interpreting complex or abstract information. Maybe difficult to relate to previous experiences, making it difficult to reach understanding. At the recalling stage, natural limits to our memory and challenges to concentrate and understand and remember. Even that can be a barrier. Our IQ levels are not same, it varies. And as we are aging, our memory also has a shortfall. At the evaluating stage, personal biases and prejudices can lead us to block people out or assume we know what they are going to say. At the responding stage, we have lack of paraphrasing and questioning skills, which can lead to misunderstanding. So, therefore, barriers to effective listening, we have summarized all the five barriers and we have also discussed few tips how to overcome these barriers. Hope this session has made you to have a clarity about barriers of effective listening. Thank you. Tell me and I forget. Teach me and I remember. Involve me and I learn, which is the famous quote given by Benjamin Franklin. Never stop learning, for when we stop learning, we stop growing. If you have liked this session, please click on like and share it to others. Thank you all.